Now we have Ibrahim Mulushewa, A News African Desk Editor, on our phone line. He's going to inform us about the recent state of affairs in Zimbabwe. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining our live program in A News.
Thank you.
So, as you know, Mugabe resigned from his post, and Zimbabwe's former vice president has just returned back to the country to serve as the interim president. So how do you evaluate the recent incident?
Thank you very much. This is a very sudden, abrupt process which began a week ago. Almost everything happened within a week, and it is a surprise to every observer of the politics of Zimbabwe, because Robert Mugabe is one of the few people who has been in power, even in the in African terms, that it is only almost 2 or 3 leaders who reigned their country to such a long period, like Libya's Gaddafi and that of Ethiopian Haile Selassie. He left unexpectedly with a process which began and finished within a week, and this is a very surprising case. Even Mugabe had no time to think of his departure, and it is, for that matter, Mnangagwa's expulsion from his post as vice president which triggered this whole process, a very abrupt process of finishing a reign of 3 decades, and very important development in the politics of even the world.
Well, Ibrahim, Emerson Mnangagwa is now scheduled to be sworn in on Friday and is expected to address his ruling ZANU-PF party. So what sort of a political process is waiting now ahead of Zimbabwe?
First, his appointment is illegal. The constitution of Zimbabwe says that the vice president will replace when the president leaves the post. Therefore, it is in accordance with the legal process, the constitution of Zimbabwe. Therefore, there is no other option other than appointing the person whom Mugabe expelled, but it is legally a sound process. This is one of the most important things. The other important thing is a person who is now in charge of Zimbabwe, who is going to is in charge of Zimbabwe with along with the army. He is part of the old establishment, ZANU-PF, but as well he is in latter period, he was the one who quarreled with Zimbabwe, and he was the cause of the Mugabe's departure. Therefore, in one hand, the old guard, the old establishment is continuing in the form of Mnangagwa, and in the other hand, the old feud was dealt with the victory of Mnangagwa against Mugabe. Therefore, the relationship is very important, as well as the quarrel. And he became victorious at the end of the day, and with the help of the army, now he's also said to have had a very crucial and positive relationship with the army, and some said that he was the one who triggered the coup in alliance with the army. Therefore, Zimbabwe is it is for the Zimbabwe very interesting, but very the future is unclear whether this Mnangagwa will be the next Mugabe, or Zimbabwe will be also transformed itself into some democratic country in the true sense of the word, or is Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF is continuing the old game of ruling the country only by itself as it did for the 3 decades. Therefore, very interesting future. In the one hand, there is hope that people will learn from the mistakes of Mugabe. In the other hand, it is also believed that the old guards are already running the country. Therefore, it is difficult to say in a precise matter what will happen to Zimbabwe after this.
Well, as you have well summarized, a lot has happened in the past few weeks in Zimbabwe, where on the one hand the world's oldest head of state tried to remain in power, even under military house arrest, and after that thousands of Zimbabweans have poured in the streets to demand his departure, and tired of a collapsing economy. As you know, Zimbabwe's economic situation is not in a really good position. That was once one of the strongest of Africa, as far as we know.
Yes, but Zimbabwe's history tells us that Zimbabwe's decline began almost in the late 1990s. Zimbabwe was considered to be the breadbasket of Africa. It is Mugabe who created that impression that Zimbabwe was a very important bread of Africa, and ironically, it is also the same Mugabe who created the very notion of Zimbabwe as a poor, undemocratic country. Mugabe has left 2 contradictory legacies. In the one hand, Mugabe is a hero who was leading Zimbabwe to its independence and fighting the colonial powers, and led to its victory in the 1980 Zimbabwe. In 1980 Zimbabwe got its independence. The same Mugabe in 2000 took lands from the whites and distributed it to the blacks, and this legacy is interpreted in 2 ways. One is for the blacks he provided land, but for the whites it triggered an uprising and also sanction by the Western powers, and that triggered also a long economic depression for the state. And it is therefore what I can say about Mugabe is a person who has left 2 contradictory legacies for Zimbabwe.
Well, thank you so much, Ibrahim Mulushewa, for joining and sharing your insights.